There, thank you. Sorry about that, everyone. So we're going to start rolling out Matrix Care Senior Living to the other departments. We haven't gotten the schedule down yet for January, February. Some communities have already started with the wellness, which is great. And pastoral care, therapy, social workers. We'll get everybody involved. North Dakota Basic Care will be really focusing on you, getting those work details worked out, and then sending out those invites. So I'm hoping to get that wrapped up yet by the end of this month. We're still working on kind of condensing our applications with Matrix. We have a team working on the security templates. I'm trying to make sure that people are using the right templates, have the right access, limiting the access to things like the progress notes on the elite side so that people aren't confused about where to document. So everybody's really been working hard at doing that. You'll see some changes with templates probably. If you do need access and something was taken away, you just put in a clinical ticket and me and Shelly will help you make sure you have the correct access for what you need. I don't think I have anything else. Shelly, do you have anything to add about the security templates or?
Nope, I think you got it. About the clinical tickets is the best thing.
Best thing always. Between me and Shelly will help you. Mostly Shelly does that. Once in a while, I might take an easy one. And then again, please join the client community. It's great for Matrix. You can request a username and password from the client community, but it has all the updates for you. I can just switch over real quick and show you what that looks like. When you log into the client community, it's going to ask you for your email, and then you'll request a password if you've never logged on before. What's great about the community is you can put in your ideas of what you want to see under this ideas tab, and it says long-term care, but it's for all communities. And then you can go ahead and you can put in your ideas, and you'll see I put in whenever you guys contact me or you have an idea, I'll go ahead and put it in. And if you get votes, it gets moved up for future consideration quicker. And you'll see that a lot of things I've done have been implemented. A lot of things are considered, but it's nice to come in here. But there's a lot of learnings. There's a lot of webinars and events. And if you go into senior living, there's like quick little videos also here. So you can go ahead and, you know, come into this area. It's just recently been redone also. So, it's a little different. If you've been on it before, it looks a little different than it has. And there's some blogs in here. There's always, when they're coming out with new things, they'll put it here first for release information. So when something's going to change, you can watch a video on that. So it's nice to get on the client community. I highly encourage you to do so. Any questions on the client community at all? We're gonna try and move through everything quickly because I know there's a 1:30 meeting with Alexa today for those communities, and I don't want them to be delayed joining that one. So we're gonna make a hardcover guidebook. It's been a request. I just haven't really had the capacity to do that yet, but I'm going to show you what it's going to kind of look like. These are the chapters that I'm thinking about, and it's going to be like a how to, you know, utilizing senior living with a fall or a skin event or some kind of elopement, or what you do with the medication error. So I sent out this chapter review to a few different communities for some input. And then as I do each one, I might send it out and see what you guys think, if you need more or less. So kind of be watching for that. I'll be working with the RNSs to give their final approval. And then we'll get those books kind of made for you. And so you can have them by your computer. I know it's really difficult to get on eSource, try to search for things. And then it'll be a little bit more of a nice little guide for you to have with you. So that's something that I started working on. So if you do have ideas, shoot me an email, shoot me a text. I'd be glad to look at all ideas. And then something came up as we were doing some audits. People are printing the evaluations for signatures and not the service plans, or they're printing the short service plan and not the one with the schedule. And for Minnesota, we have to have the service plan with the schedule to meet the criteria. So just be really careful that you guys, when we're in senior living, we are printing the service plan and we are printing the one with the schedule. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. So we're all doing the right thing. So when you're in your senior living, we want to come here and you want to go to the service plan. And when you're going to print the service plan, you highlight it and then you print, and you want to print the one with the schedule. You want the families to really read all the information, and you want them to have that, that schedule so that they can agree to it. So anything that would be a scheduled piece would then be here, and it would show the times and the intervals for them. So if they did question anything on that service plan, you know, then that's a discussion you would have, and then you could revise it if you needed to. But you really want the service plan with the schedule. I have seen a lot of the evaluations printed, and that does not have the verbiage for the service plan. So it doesn't have the levels at the end. It doesn't have all the canceling and rescheduling and the emergency services stuff in there. So, and of course, each state's a little bit different with their verbiage. And so we continue to work on those state by state also. So if there's something you need to see in your service plan, of course, let me know. Any questions on printing the service plan?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Okay, it says somewhere I read that you don't have to print it out and sign it if there's no changes in the service plan from one time to another. But what if they make just a subtle change in, like, say, well, I sleep better with a fuzzy pillow than a hard pillow? Just a comment about their sleep. Would that, any word like adding and, but, if, something just minor like that, then we have to print it all out because that would be considered a change? Or is it more that it changes the money and the services?
Well, to answer that clearly, MDH doesn't really give you that nice, clear definition, but they might challenge you if you don't, in Minnesota, if you don't charge or print it and have them re-sign for any change. But
Okay.
they're looking at more significant changes. I don't think they're gonna get you for the and or the but or the fuzzy sweater. I
Okay.
think they're looking at actual service changes.
Okay.
I don't want to steer you wrong because, you know, I've seen them get really, really picky, but I feel it's more about a change, and it's not about the money, it's really about the service. So they may not go into a different level, but if I'm adding a safety check after a fall, I'm gonna have them sign that service plan over because that is a change, but yet it didn't change their payment.
Okay,
That helps a little bit. Does anyone
Yes.
else want to weigh in on that? Because I know we've all kind of been through that together.
Yes, Ms. Evans, I agree in the, as you said, most importantly is that we want to make sure that we update the plan of care, which is the service plan, on the changes to the resident. But when it comes to the level of care and the monies involved, then we have to make sure that the family is aware as well. But ultimately, we want to make sure that we are patient-centered care and we update as we do the assessments.
Thank you, Evans. Anyone else want to weigh in on? Okay. And then I thought we would just kind of go over kind of a month-end review. How to kind of come up with your end of the month processes. And making sure that everyone is being billed into the right level, because I'm doing a lot of audits right now. I'm trying to go through all your communities and make sure that we're not billing incorrectly. I've probably done about, I think 15 in the last 2 months. I'm hoping to get through all of you by the end of February. So I'm just going to kind of run through kind of what I do for you guys. And then when I send it out, what it's going to look like. So I kind of do a few different things. So one thing I do is I run this report in senior living under resident care matrix level. I kind of look at this and I'm just going to go into the training site and I'm going to run this for the month of December. And I might run a few months. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Can you all see that? When I know I have a community that is pretty spot on and I'm just doing a monthly follow-up on them, I'm going to run this resident care level report because it will show me exactly the minutes for every day of the month. And I can just quickly run through and I can say, oh, okay, nobody's changed. Oh, Kathleen Laird, she had a change from 9 points to 51. Let me go check in Matrix Elite and see if she still has that level change and make sure that was done somewhere around the 14th of December. And so I can pretty much clue into those changes for those people for the month. This report also is going to tell me how many minutes that I did sell for services. So it gives me a summary. So you'll see here, I have 3,028 points average today on the 21st. So those are kind of my minutes of care. So this is very fast. I can kind of look at this and I don't really need my average residence and I don't need my average care level, but these total points or minutes are important to me. But it's a nice little quick report. And then I don't have to go through each resident. I just am going to go in for the month and see who changed and make sure they're on the right care level. Make sure that we followed up with that. When I'm doing a big review, I start on the evaluation page. And I like to put mine alphabetical because that's how Matrix runs it. And I'm going to start at the top, and all I'm going to do is export it. I'm going to export to a Excel spreadsheet. Once I get my spreadsheet done, there are a lot of columns I don't need anymore. So I like their room number. I like B because it's their name, and so I make that a little bit bigger. I don't really need these two columns because it doesn't matter what site. I know what site I'm at. I probably don't need these columns, so I'm going to delete those. I don't need the approval, the NRA, or the BMPs, so I'm going to delete them. And I don't need the minute column. And then I know they're all active, so I'm going to delete that. Now what I do is I make another one called Matrix Elite Level. And I'm going to toggle back and forth. So I'm going to go to my Elite side. And I don't have my demo site set up with our pricing. So we'll just kind of talk through it. So I'm going to go to Fred, and then I'm going to go over to Elite, and I'm going to go under my charge entry, and I'm going to see what his level is. If he's a 7, I'm going to put a 7 here. Then I'm going to toggle over to Judith Bryant in Elite, and I'm going to see what her level is. And I'm going to see she's a level 2. Now I'm going to go, oh, Elite is wrong. So I'm probably going to highlight that in yellow so I know to go back and look at that. If in Elite we're not billing the level that they were in senior living, I'm probably going to come back to senior living, and I'm going to try and find out when she had her last eval. And then I'm going to find out when it was signed. Did we communicate to the family? Is there a note about that level change? And so it's part of the problem that people can't find old evaluations. And so what you need to do is come up to your filter, and you need to go to your all evaluations. And then you have to go to your status, because we want to look at the closed or the canceled, maybe the deleted, who knows, but for sure we want the canceled and the closed. Well, probably just closed. Let's just pick those. And then for Judith, I think we were doing Judith. I can see all the service plans, and I can then put them in date of order. I can put them what types they are if I want to put them together that way. But these are all the things that I can do, and I can look for when that change was. And then I can go ahead and say, well, that was true. She changed back in August. And then I'm going to go into the Elite or the chart and see if I have a signed service plan for her. And so you'll have to keep going through each one. Once you get your, once you get these down, hang on one second, I got my pictures in the way again. Once you get everything down and you get it cleaned up, you know, your big time going through them, that change report then really does help, because now I don't have to do this big Excel spreadsheet anymore. I can just really look at my monthly changes and zero in on those people. But this is how I do your whole audit. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to put questions back here. I'm going to, you know, make a column, another column for you. Notes, and I'm going to put some of my notes in, what you should be checking, and give you some hints how to correct it. And those will be sent to you and your executive director. So does that make sense how I make this flow sheet and how I compare it to the Elite side so that we know that our billing is correct? Any questions?
You just quickly go through the steps back where you got that report. I had written part of it, but I didn't catch all of it.
So you go back to your evaluation page.
Yeah.
And let me take that, that status off. You go back to your evaluation page. I always put them in order, alphabetical order to print it, just because the Elite side's in alphabetical order, and then hit export.
Okay.
I like to do it to the Excel because I have more power over changing my columns, and it'll pull right in here for you.
Okay.
And then you can make it however you want to see it. And you can take out the columns you really don't need and add in ones that you want to add in. And that one report again is the resident care basic matrix level report. Now, all these reports in senior living, just for the people who are newer to our assisted living, Matrix Senior Living is a whole environment in its own. Only Benedictine only purchased part of senior living. And so we don't, all these reports are not made for us. Just a few are made for us. Because of that reason, we don't use the whole system of senior living. We use another product called Elite, which our senior living is hooked on to. So down the road, their upgrade is going to be to put like a little asterisk behind the ones that are made for Benedictine, so that you guys don't keep trying to run reports that don't make sense for us.
Can I ask a question about that evaluation due report?
Yes.
I
You can-
really like this report better than doing it other ways. I like how it comes out for me. The only thing is that it doesn't come out with, I have to kind of look at every date instead of it coming out on top when the next one is due, the one that is due sooner. And so I have to every time kind of, I don't know if it's because it comes in alphabetical order or not, but other than that, I love that report. I just wish it was in order of when they're due.
Yep, and so those are things that we can put in the client community. So if you're not
Okay.
sure how, I'm happy to submit them. And I just wrote that down, so I'll submit that later today. But you can also put it into an Excel instead of the PDF, and then you can sort it. You know, with the dates. I'm not sure how to do that. Penny's like a huge Excel expert, so she could maybe then, you know, figure out how to like change it, but I'll put that in as a request.
Good. That'd be great. Thank you.
Because I agree, you have to go down where, that's why for me, when I'm doing an audit, I just come here and do my next due because it pulls it more in order for me. So I know that
Yeah.
Fred
I
is very
tried that.
overdue. He's only 2 years overdue. You know, so it's easier for me to do it this way. You can export from here also and do a PDF. You can export from every single view. So if you export and you have it this way, then it should put it in the order for you.
With the other one though, it's really one button you push, put the dates in you want, and then it's there.
Yeah.
It's all that other stuff I get so mixed up on.
Yeah. But I do like the export factor. So like we talked about before, when you're under forms and I want to look back to everyone who's had a fall report, I can type in new fall and put that here, and then I can export that. And then I have everybody who's had a fall and the dates that are inputted, so. So it's nice to do it that way too. But the export button is kind of nice for every screen because you can really make a spreadsheet of any single area you're in. Okay. Let me go back. Any more questions on anything there? Okay, I have some updates for Minnesota I want to get through because I know that they're gonna, some of these communities are jumping off on me here. Minnesota evaluation, we have quite a few questions that are not working. 133 is not working. As you know, it's a diabetic questions. I've asked you to use 132 because it's not calculating points. Question 44, it's that person-centered wellness questionnaire. For some reason, when I linked it to the evaluation, it is causing quite the havoc in senior living, and it's refusing to let your points come up in the evaluations. So when I do Jane and I copy over her existing evaluation, it's not bringing all the points over because question 44 is hooking it up. So you have to go down to that question. And this is the answer to it. 44 is the evaluation. You just have to hit add edit notes. Click in the link. You don't have to write anything. Just click in there and hit save. That is correcting it. Then all the points show up. I don't know why they can't find the root cause. I may unlink the question when I redo the Minnesota form and just make it mandatory a different way. I'm not sure what the hang up there is. So hopefully me redoing this evaluation will help that. I'm not positive. And then question 70, if you pick that, it doesn't let you pick multiples in that area. I'll fix that. I had a request under 110, which is the housing I'm okay check, to put a quick note in so they don't have to hand type to do a safety check and notify supervisor if not found. And then another request in the vulnerable adults section that all staff are mandated reporters, and we have annual training, and put that verbiage in there so you can pick that quick note, which makes sense. And I would love to push this evaluation out and get it corrected, but I still have, we should have all, August 1st is when we put this 3.1 out, or 3.2. Everyone should have had one done by the end of October. And it's already December and we have a lot of evaluations that have not been done, which means you're very late on these. I'm gonna give you till January 10th. I have to push out this new eval and get these corrected for people because it's such a workaround. So if you're not completed by January 10th, you're just gonna lose everything that's in the previous eval. You won't be able to copy anything over. You'll be starting brand new. So 2.5 months, I think, is fair time to get you guys caught up, but it's quite a workaround for everyone else. So I really want to get this corrected as quick as we can. And they are still working on the discharge summary for Matrix to drop that in so that it will work just like the roster for Minnesota. I haven't had an update on where they're at on that one yet. Wisconsin, I don't really have any changes for you guys. Some of the verbiage that we talked about in Missouri during my visit this past week was all the residents that want to, that have a scheduled service such as a bath, and then they say, no, I'll take it tomorrow. Well, so many residents are doing that and pushing things off to the next day, and then we're bottlenecked the next day with not enough staff to do all the services. And so, you know, in Minnesota, we have this policy that if you're going to refuse a service, you still pay. You have to give us a 24-hour notice to cancel and reschedule a service. And we kind of have a little more of a verbiage in our service plans. And so just gonna send this out there if this is something we want to talk about for the other states. And this was from Ben White and Penny are looking at this also. And so I think it's a good idea to look at and kind of lessen that ability for them to keep canceling. I know down at Nazareth, there was a day where the aides had 4 scheduled baths and they ended up with like 12 because so many people had refused the previous 2 days. And then the aides are just overloaded. So,
Are we required to make up that service legally?
no, if they refuse, they refuse. Yep, and it's in our contract for Minnesota already. And that's the reason we do it, because we staff on services scheduled, plus a little variation for unscheduled services. But if everybody starts moving every service to the next day, we could be in a lot of trouble. We could really not have the staffing needed to pass meds and do the bathing. So just something to put out there. Me and Penny will be talking to each state individually. We'll be working on that to see if that's something we want to do. And then Missouri notified me that their question 90 is not working in their template. And I think we have one in North Dakota not working too, but I'll have to get back with Lisa. And again, that new guidebook, hopefully I'll have that done soon for you. And that's about all I had today. I was trying to kind of do a quick meeting because of the Alexa meetings, but does anyone have anything they want to bring up? Any difficulties, anything that is good that happened? I'd be happy to. I'll let you guys talk now. Okay. Well, it looks like everyone's okay and no major problems going on. So I'm going to give you guys back a nice 25 minutes of your day today. I know a lot dropped off for that Alexa meeting already. Speaking of Matrix and Alexa, well, I'll bring that up at another meeting. That's a longer discussion, but I hope you guys all have a great Christmas and New Year's. I am on vacation the first week of January. So just use the support ticket, the clinical tickets while I'm off, and somebody will help you.
Thank
Otherwise,
you.
I appreciate your time today. Thanks, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.